Charlie literally broke the light. Well, we can use my phone for light.
It's not too bad in here. It's not too bad.
No, it's not bad.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Dogs. This is your favorite podcast about movies and TV and beer and procrastination.
Yes. A little bit late. I'm the switch hitter. Tyler couldn't make it.
You're always a member of Popcorn Dogs. It just doesn't work out always.
No, it does not.
Yeah, usually Tyler and I like to meet for Popcorn Dogs generally on like weeknights if we can.
Sure.
It's a little bonus stuff. Mm-hmm. And so 2 weeks ago, I don't know why we didn't record. We didn't record something for 2 weeks ago, and then I was out of town.
You were out of town
on vacation, and then last week was a bachelor party.
Yeah, at the Ren Fair, right?
Dude, it was like 10 minutes before Tyler was leaving the house, and I said, "Don't come. I can't. I can't podcast."
Yeah, makes sense.
Just trying to pull myself together. I'm Brad. We're part of the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network.
I'm Dylan. I'm also a member of the Tokyo Beats Podcast Network, and they love me the most. They told me.
Dylan, you were on the very first episode of Popcorn Dogs, which is just kind of like a preamble explaining what we liked about movies.
God, I don't even remember.
We pretty much just shot the shit.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have any recollection. It's not as if these all fade together, but at a certain point, the backlog becomes so huge, I have no distinct memories of them.
We're almost at 100 raw dogs altogether because there's about 10 Patreon ones bouncing around. So we're at about 100.
Wow. Holy shit.
Plus, we did 40 Dogcast probably together.
Something like
40
that.
Or 50 Popcorn Dogs. We're at 45 Doggies After Dark.
Oof. Yeah, wow.
That's a monstrous amount.
That is.
Of just really drunk debauchery.
Some more embarrassing than the others.
I don't know. I've never listened to them.
I have. They're actually pretty fun.
Some of them are great, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
Well,
I don't listen to myself generally after the fact.
I don't really. I've gotten into the habit of doing it just to see like the quality control or whatever, or to see if I get too drunk. That era seems to have gone away, so I'm glad for that, but it's always still a possibility.
So,
because now it's you guys being like, "Oh, I'm so hungover," and then I come in and I'm like, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
I'm generally not too bad.
No.
Tyler is the
Tyler gets whipped up these days.
It's not a broken record, but he's just generally like, "Oh."
Well, he's a swinging single. What can we say?
When I was a single man, I was probably out a little bit later.
I was,
but now I'm like, well, it's almost 9 o'clock. We better watch an episode of Succession and go to bed.
Yeah, that's about me.
Yeah. So before we get started, anything you've been watching that like no spoilers, but like fun things you'd recommend or quick thoughts on?
I finally got around to Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
It's really fucking good.
It's a great show.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I loved the entire thing. I'm like, holy shit, James Gunn should just do more TV directing.
It's about modern American ideals. You finish the whole thing?
Yeah.
Dude, like when it's revealed who his father is and all that, I'm like, oh, it's just hits so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love, I think James Gunn is a really fantastic visual director and also draws characters very well. I do still think that he uses nostalgic music way too much as a crutch.
I think it works very well in some movies sometimes. But we'll see what happens. I think when he is fully in charge of, the new Superman and like overseeing the DCU.
I mean, he already is.
Well, I think once he starts releasing his own things, like as the controlling creative force, I think that'll be toned down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't want it to be Guardians of the Galaxy every fucking movie. Which I could use
another The Suicide Squad. I loved that movie.
Yeah, it was very good. Mm-hmm. I love James Gunn has a certain like love and affection for the heroes and villains that nobody knows or cares about.
I mean, Joss Whedon, eat your heart out. He does team dynamics better than anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like we're fighting a starfish. I'm totally into that.
Well, Starro is an actual.
Yeah. And the polka dot guy, like when they were like late at night when they're going to the campfire and he's just like playing with his polka dots. I'm like, this is some weird fun shit.
He's got to expel them.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is his mom. Such a funny bit. And at the end, the starfish is his mom.
Yeah.
Then he forces his mom to collapse on him. It's perfect. I don't know, you know, like a movie of that. Well, I think if you really look into the Suicide Squad, I think that was really full of jabs at Marvel.
Yeah. I'm curious. There's been a lot of recent talks about releasing the original Suicide Squad director's cut and releasing the Schumacher Batman Forever cut.
Oh, really?
I think we're going to get some of them, actually. David Ayer, who did Suicide Squad, was saying that, yeah, it's probably going to be coming out around the time the new Superman or whatever comes out to, like, get hype back up for the DC universe.
If they can save that slog, I do not know. Because it wasn't exactly...
Things can be destroyed in the editing room.
I know, but even the way it was all shot and kind of put together, I don't really have much confidence by way of writing anyway. The plot itself was fine, but all the stuff with the integrated universe that didn't really exist yet, like Jared Leto's Joker, I hate Jared Leto.
Yeah.
I really do not like Jared Leto.
I love Tron. I love Tron Legacy. I will not see Tron 3 because it's starring Jared Leto. I'm like, I'm not going to go fucking spend money on that.
He's a cult leader, for Christ's sake.
He's a cult leader and a pedophile.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he still gets roles. I did watch Morbius for free at home in the background, and it was even worse than I could have imagined.
That's my favorite movie, though.
Morbius is, very good. Very good movie.
Fuck the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and Porco Rosso. Let's go with Morbius.
Man, we should rank the Miyazaki films sometimes.
We'd have to see The Boy and the Heron first.
Yeah, let's mention that. When was the last time you've ever heard of the answer is never, but a major filmmaker who is nearing retirement, who's coming out of retirement multiple times, releases what could be their very last film. Imagine if Tarantino...
This one is.
Imagine if Tarantino just all of a sudden, like, no announcement, like 2 days before it comes out, like, hey, my last movie's coming out. No trailer, no promotional materials, just go see it.
I think it's so baller that they did. I honestly think that's a... My words are slurring. This is my first beer.
You sound great.
No, but I'm tripping up. What's really interesting about it is that I think it's perfect marketing. I'm going to see this no matter what.
Yeah.
This man can exist on name alone. If you even go into like a mall these days and you go to, what's that place? Treasure Hunt, Tree Box, Tree House.
Any of the knick-knack paddywhack
Well, there's
stores.
there's like the mall on Mayfair. It's in several places, and it's got all these kitschy kind of Disney / Ghibli / Naruto
/ Dragon Ball.
Anything really.
It's like the new, like, more refined Hot
Box
Topic.
Lunch. That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's Hot Topic without the black.
Yeah, without the Black Sabbath t-shirts. I'm so excited for this. I will see this in theaters. I don't like theaters, but I will not wait to see this.
Will not wait. Will not compromise.
Wait. No, because I waited a long time to see the newest One Piece movie, and it's like the best thing in the world to me at this moment.
And
it's like Jordan and mine's favorite movie.
That's not the live action.
No, that's going to be a show.
And that supposedly looks pretty good from what you were saying, right? Like, it actually looks hopeful.
It looks hopeful because the first teasers were... I have an issue that it's live action in general. It's ostensibly a story about a lot of cartoon characters on a voyage together. And I think you can do that. I just don't see the purpose of doing that.
Yeah.
The story's already told in 2 different forms.
Yeah.
There's already a show.
Yeah.
The show's already there. I don't like the show at all.
Yeah.
Because I think the animation is so poor quality, except for like the recent episodes. Holy shit. Actually, they got Warner Brothers in.
I wish I had an eye for animation. It's one of those things, the more you take in, like, the more you see it.
I'll send you clips because they hired WB Studios to co-do this. Spoiler alerts, you probably don't care. It's One Piece. So One Piece has a power scaling system for the main character, Luffy.
Okay.
And he's gone to gear 4, which is like his highest like shit he's ever done. He basically becomes like this hyper condensed rubber man that can overheat and do anything he wants.
Okay.
And in a recent fight, not in the comics, but whatever, he gains this ability to warp reality itself. It turns out he's not a rubber man. He's like a cartoon man.
Okay. So he's Bugs Bunny.
He essentially becomes Bugs
He has
Bunny.
hammer space.
But he can also transform the world around him to meet that kind of expectation. So he's altering reality basically through his own joy.
As long as it's not another multiverse.
It's not. It's not at all.
Okay.
But that animation was stellar, and I wish the whole thing could look like that. It's not going to. But I don't know. The live action show looks good. I trust a lot of these actors, actually. I think that to portray these characters realistically.
Yeah.
Because they make live action stuff of anime all the time in Japan, and it's all bad.
Yeah.
I've never really seen a good one unless it's a recreation of a movie, and even then, what's the point in that?
Yeah.
Because animation always will look better no matter what, unless you did a bad job. But I think
it's like when Taika Waititi talks about making the Akira movie or series.
It's just stupid. Why would you want to build on that?
I know that he wants to do things that were in the manga and that were not in the film.
There's some cool stuff.
And I used to just have blind trust in Taika. I have very cautious trust in Taika these days.
I think he also is someone who has crutches people are getting a little wary of.
Yep. I think that his Star Wars movie that they were like so gung-ho about, they've started walking back, just like the fucking Dan Weiss and David Benioff from Game of Thrones were given a fucking Star Wars trilogy and
they fucked it up in one fell swoop.
And then after one half season of Game of Thrones, they haven't worked since. They have like a new Netflix series which is about like time travel or something coming out.
Well,
the trailer for that looked okay.
To be fair, this is similar to what happened to Damon Lindelof.
Okay.
During like Lost. Have you ever watched Lost?
I watched all of Lost.
Me too.
And I've watched a lot of videos about people describing Lost as well.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love a series, I love watching people describe train wrecks, like the Hobbit trilogy. Lindsay Ellis has such a good 3-part series on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Just breaking into it and involving like the
I have
actors.
seen that.
It's very good.
She's an awesome. I normally don't love like video essays because they're always telling me the same shit I already know.
Yep.
She's actually like awesome. So
yeah.
I recommend her. There's my recommendation for the day. The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey was fine. I actually thought it was okay.
And even the second one had redeeming qualities. Third one was almost all bad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's still at the end of the day, bad Peter Jackson is still good. It's just not great.
They really wanted to make this whole thing a cinematic universe, as you could see from the Rings of Power, which was, guess who's talking about that anymore?
Did you watch the whole season?
No.
I watched 2 episodes, and if there was
too much.
If there was anybody in the goddamn world who was like an easy sell, all you have to do is have something that is like digestible, a little fun, and some characters that look like the universe.
Maybe they changed some things about them, you know.
That's fine. I was bored out of my fucking gourd. I couldn't even watch 2 full episodes. And someone said like, "Oh, after episode 4 it picks up." I'm like, I don't care.
Well, first of all, I don't like prequels to begin with, unless it's like really weird. That's why I like the Star Wars prequels,
like the new
because it's like
Bayonetta.
I'm like, how do you get from this to this? Like, that's the weird part about it.
They're supposed to be doing like an old empire, like not old, like 1,000 years before
High Republic.
The High Republic.
Oh no, the Old Republic
or whatever it is. The stuff like way before episode 1.
Well, I mean, there's a game about it too, but they're gonna
retcon it,
canon it. I don't have much trust in them. The Ahsoka show's coming out though, and who doggy, I have not been more excited for a season of Star Wars anything. Since Mandalorian season 2.
I have watched bits of the Clone Wars. Never saw, what was it, Rebels?
Rebels is amazing.
I watched a 25-minute, like, everything you need to know before Ahsoka thing. And I didn't pay enough attention, so I kind of stopped. But I want to. But there's, like 200 episodes between all of that, which is canon in this current Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka looks good. It sounds like Hayden Christensen is in the show, at least through voice, and I love that.
He's going to be a Force ghost because this takes place after Return of the Jedi.
So it can be actual Hayden Christensen Force ghost now, because we've gone through the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
We've all, the letdown has already kind of simmered on seeing Sebastian Stan removed.
I have a feeling that so many people have not seen their confrontation.
Not Sebastian Stan, whatever his name is. It might be Sebastian Stan. I'm getting confused with the Winter Soldier. Sorry.
Oh, they wanted him to be Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian.
He should have.
Instead of that CG weirdness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been great.
He actually looks very close to
Sebastian Shaw. I forget the name of the actor when they took off Vader's helmet, but
whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Sebastian Shaw is a member of the Hellfire Club in X-Men.
Oh.
So it might be the same. I don't know.
Yeah, speaking of MCU, Carly and I watched Secret Invasion.
Oh, no.
By far the worst piece of Marvel Universe. Anything. I could almost... It was worse than anything else we've ever seen.
So I've heard a lot of bad press about this.
Yeah.
Is it just mellow, or is it just total gobbledygook garbage?
What's the other actor's name that's not Samuel L. Jackson? He played Krennic in Rogue One. He's such a great villain,
I know.
Ready Player One.
His name is...
I feel horrible forgetting his name.
No, it's okay. He's a character actor. He wants to disappear into his roles.
He's so good in everything I've ever seen. And you have Samuel L. Jackson.
He plays one of the Skrulls, right?
Yeah, he is the one from Captain Marvel.
Right.
He is like the number 2 actor in the show. And there are scenes with him and Samuel L. Jackson that are the most boring scenes I've ever
I keep
seen.
wanting to say Mads Mikkelsen, but that's the other guy in it.
Yeah. I mean, there's not one moment where characters are talking where I was interested or involved.
Oh.
There's maybe one piece of action where that was fun.
Really?
And then out of nowhere, spoiler warning.
I don't care. I've read all of them.
Not for you.
I'm not going to watch it.
It's for everybody else. But at this point, everyone has seen pictures of Emilia Clarke with Drax's arm.
Yeah.
Which Drax's arm is tattoos. That's not like that. Those are tattoos he has, right?
Yeah.
So the DNA from Drax shouldn't give her Drax's tattoos.
Why did they choose a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, she got like 30 different DNAs.
Oh.
So she has Groot DNA, but it's not even just Avengers. They also have like the lava monsters from Iron Man 3. They have
the Extremis.
They have like the frost giants somehow.
Extremis is not about whatever.
I forget them all, but
Extremis is a drug.
At that point was the finale was the only part where I was like, it was raised up to 3, my interest meter out of 10.
So it could have just been one episode, and maybe you would have been interested.
Even one feature film, it's not
or
great.
a 1 hour long special.
And it was bad.
So the Secret Invasion in Marvel Comics is that the Skrull invasion started happening around the time of the first disassembling of the Avengers. And during Civil War, they were basically integrating themselves into the Marvel Universe as everyone was fighting each other. So
yeah, and there was a lot of them.
Oh, there's a shitload of them. Spider-Woman was a Skrull. Who else was a fucking Skrull? Man, 15-year-old me would be so fucking pissed at myself.
Bigger name heroes, though.
There were some. Not what you think, really. Well, in this show, it was Rhodey. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Not with the death of Tony Stark or anything.
They seem to be setting it up like it was after Vision shot him. But also there was a scene where he bleeds during the Thanos fight.
And his
blood's not the right color. And there's a lot of different things now.
This is also comic books 101. Retconning has to happen when you have something running for so long.
Yeah.
It's the only way to create intrigue. Otherwise, characters can't evolve past things.
I mean, there are ways you could just have, I don't know, Iron Man's assistant, I forget his name, Jon Favreau. Like, have one of those like side background characters be Skrulls. The assistants to the heroes. You could get away with that so much easier than
Pepper could have been a Skrull.
Pepper Potts. No one cares about Pepper Potts.
No one gives a shit.
Pepper fucking Potts.
Everyone just sees. Well, I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow is beautiful, but all I see now is goop. Yeah, not literal goop. I think she's still a beautiful woman, but she's full of shit.
Oh man, she's a huckster. She is tricking people into not getting proper care and spending money on things they don't need.
Holistic care can pair
American politics.
Well, here's the thing: holistic care can pair with the other shit you're doing too, but that can't be your only answer. Good
old fashioned medicine.
Yeah, Jesus, I mean, there's stuff even I do that's kind of holistic, like gnawing on garlic when you've got a sore throat.
That's good though.
Yeah,
it
releases like. It helps your throat. It does a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I gnaw on a piece of garlic. I gnaw on a piece of ginger. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they should have done something different. They could have made this a series of movies and actually integrated things. And if that's what Marvel's known for,
yeah,
they were just reaching at straws. How can we make this work? This is a name that people have seen before.
The problem is, the Disney Plus model, they need shows coming out weekly to maintain memberships when this is clearly
They just started raising their prices, by the way.
Well, I get it free with my Verizon.
So. Oh, nice. Well,
but
lucky Brad.
This is clearly a made-for-TV Disney original movie scenario. Do that with Armor Wars. Do that. WandaVision I loved. Loki was good.
I loved Loki.
I thought Loki was a little long in the tooth, but mostly great.
I thought they were doing kind of a Doctor Who send-up for a little while, so that's what I actually liked about it.
I would have liked that more.
It is kind of one, but they also integrate. But the fact that it's all, I mean, everything's about the multiverse at this point, and the fact that so many stories I had written when I was like 23 or whatever were all multiverse and like time loop focused. Now it's just become such a hack thing to do in storytelling.
Yeah.
It's an excuse to just do whatever the hell you want. When even like the regular old Marvel comic books don't delve into that as much as they used to.
It's just the new hot thing.
Well, everyone hears one word and they hear a new concept for the first time. Maybe they haven't read any actual science fiction books. But,
well, I mean, you have Into the Spider-Verse proving it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
No Way Home making it extremely financially viable. Everything Everywhere All at Once, like proving that it's also Oscar fucking great concept.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only because of the individual artistic elements in those things. It's not because it was a multiverse thing.
It's about the storytelling.
It's about the telling of the story, not the concept of it. And yeah, we watched The Flash.
What'd you think?
It was fun.
Yeah?
It was better than most DC films.
That's saying something. It is. It's saying something.
When The Flash is saving a bunch of babies falling from a building, very funny sequence.
Sure.
Pretty shitty digital work.
Oh, but I hear the CG in this is just rough.
It's all over the place, man. And to me, I like train wrecks. So I either want things to be very good or laughably bad. And at points, it was kind of both.
I like a nice, like, every once in a while, like, okay. Like, what'd you think of that? Sometimes I enjoy that on, like, if you have, like, a lazy Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and you just look at your partner and you just go, hey, I'm just going to rent something from Amazon.
Yeah.
We're going to scroll through the shit we can rent, and then we're going to just pick one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I have to pay $6. We're sitting here anyway. Let's get fat on chips and salsa and watch a movie.
Yeah.
But most of the ones that I know are going to be good, because I read reviews and I know
you know what to expect a little bit.
Yeah, you keep some level of track of all this. I have to be like prepared for them. And if someone tells me, "Oh, you got to be emotionally prepared for this," then I'm like, oh, I have to set aside a special time for this because I might like cry or I might like.
Yeah. The first time I watched Room, I was recommended Room starring Brie Larson.
A movie where Brie Larson is actually very good.
No, she's a great actress. It's just.
She doesn't want to be Captain Marvel.
She shouldn't have been in the MCU.
She was hired to do that job like 6 years before she actually fulfilled her role as Captain Marvel. Because she was supposed to be in Age of Ultron.
Oh, really?
Yes. And they just kept pushing her movie off. And by that point, she didn't want to. Can you imagine, though? Like, it feels like Jennifer Lawrence with Mystique.
Explain. Elaborate.
She wasn't hot shit before she got the role.
And then she was signed to a contract.
Signed to a contract. And then she had to keep being this role.
Yeah.
When really, truly, Mystique is not like a fabulous character.
I don't even love Jennifer Lawrence's portrayal of Mystique any more than Rebecca Romaine Stamos's. They're both fine, but
well, literally, she's just a blue naked woman. I love that performance.
But Jennifer Lawrence, though, she has a few like flippant, like I'm a silly, like young person things, but
that's fine too. When I heard
Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy.
Oh, first of
all,
they
do a lot of heavy lifting.
Well,
in those
first
films.
of all, that is by far and large, First Class is the best portrayal of the X-Men I've ever seen.
I love those costumes.
Yeah,
their costumes at Final Fight.
I mean, they're A-okay, but it's so
how he gets his helmet from Kevin Bacon's character, Nightcrawler's dad, I believe.
Oh, whatever. Lazarus, I forget what his name is.
It's just the Banshee guy, or whatever his name is.
Banshee, yeah.
He can fly with his like sound waves. I'm like, oh, sign me up. Yeah, inject this shit into my veins.
It's really strange though. They have Havoc in the movie.
Yeah, Cyclops' older brother, which destroys the timeline.
It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
It should have just been a reboot with the 5 original X-Men. And then maybe Magneto having some of the Brotherhood on the team as well. But they wanted to somehow tie it to the other movies.
Which they didn't need to. Days of Future Past was okay.
I liked Days of Future Past.
I thought it was fine, but I could have taken First Class 2 just as easily, maybe more. And then they got to, what was it, X3?
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
It goes then up from Apocalypse. It's Dark Phoenix.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot.
They made that. I tried.
Imagine making Oscar Isaac not interesting. They did that with Apocalypse. There's only one interesting scene, and it's when he's just magic powering different outfits onto somebody, and he's in the background. I'm like, that's kind of funny. Otherwise, Apocalypse they made incredibly boring.
Yeah, they didn't even get his power set right.
I didn't catch that, but
it's fine. He can just kind of do a lot. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to see a little bit better from superhero stuff, especially after seeing Peacemaker.
Yeah.
It's got the tongue-in-cheek, like, ribbing of superheroes that I'm really actually also tired with. But superhero movies have taken the place of mythology at this point, like a standard mythology, because superheroes exist in our world, and it's the more like acceptable way that we can consume that.
Yeah, no one believes Jesus can do what he did as much anymore. But for some reason, Radioactive Waste covering Joker.
And the Punisher really loves cops.
No, he doesn't.
He loves them. I see him on their cars.
Oh, man. Jonathan Bernal has made statements. He's like, you asshats, that's not what this character's about.
He kills anyone.
Yeah.
There's a point where Captain America dies and he tries to be Captain America and then realizes he can't fucking do it.
I liked when I was actually reading the Civil War comics, because I had like I downloaded all like 150 of the different ones, and
Jesus, really?
You'd get the main,
those tie-ins are
all of the ones that were like intersecting from all the heroes. I had it on my iPad while I was traveling, so it was kind of cool.
Sure.
But there was one where they're like, the Punisher's in, and then he immediately just like shoots 2 villains in the head that's like within the next frame. They're like, they're bad guys. And like, all right, you're fucking out, man. You can't be here.
Well, I think that happens in the main line.
Or whatever. But yeah. It was
the one by Mark Millar.
They tried to integrate him, and he immediately just shoots stupid villains in the head.
Well, yeah, that's what happens.
It's the Punisher.
I know.
I'm also worried about him being in the MCU and Daredevil's like 25 episodes or whatever they're doing for him.
I loved the way that Netflix did it. I thought that at least the first 2 seasons of Daredevil were really phenomenal. 3 was all right, but it's when they started to try and make the Defenders where I was like, come on, can't I just have... So the older I get, the more I realize that Daredevil is my favorite Marvel character.
Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually really love Charlie Cox's portrayal.
Oh, you prefer Charlie Cox's?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more did you know that he couldn't get hired after playing Matt Murdock for a while? Because he was so good at pretending to be blind.
People thought he was blind?
Yes. Well, it wasn't that. It's just he could not get rid of the affectation. It's like the guy who played Elvis in the Elvis biopic.
I hate it. I've never even seen that movie.
He kept the accent for too long after it.
That movie just looks like the worst kind of film.
I watched it.
Did you hate it?
I didn't hate it, no. Yeah. Tom Hanks is abysmal in it. If you want to see a bad Tom Hanks film.
He's either the best or the worst.
The guy who plays Elvis sells it.
You know, I never saw that Wachowski film with Tom Hanks.
Cloud Atlas?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. If you want to see Hugo Weaving as a Korean man.
Oh, no.
That happens in it.
I also never got to see...
He does yellow face.
I also didn't get to see Gary Oldman do short person face. And that Matthew McConaughey film.
Oh, no. What is that one called?
It's like Stilts or something like that.
It was something like Stilts.
It's not Stilts, but it's something like that.
I'm going to call it Stilts.
Yeah. Tippy Toes or something.
Tippy Toes.
We should do a Tiptoes episode of Popcorn Dogs.
God. I'd have to be so drunk for that one.
Or we get drunk every time we get upset talking about the film. Every time you take a drink.
Oh, I mean, I just took a drink right now.
I want to mention one more film that we did see. We recently saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And
I hear only good things.
Only good things.
How cheap is it to rent?
What's that?
How cheap is it to rent?
It's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
honestly, I would pay $20 to rent it even. I would prefer to watch something in my home rather than a theater. So if that allays ticket pricing, if they deserve the money.
Yeah, and watch it with your speakers loud. The audio's character in that film as well. It's great. It's fun. If you like the first one, there's even more goodness.
I should probably invest in a sound bar.
Yeah, I spent too much money at one point to get like a nice 5.1 surround sound system with a big receiver.
It literally can't happen at my place. The layout just doesn't work.
It can work.
With Bluetooth.
There are ways.
I'm not going to do it.
But yeah, if I had to make one recommendation, that would be worth checking out as well. We're also almost through three seasons of Succession. We finally got to Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who for Carly.
Oh.
He's my favorite.
Really, Capaldi?
Love Capaldi.
I'm still a Tennant guy.
Old cranky man doctor is the best. I don't want him to be a boyfriend. I want him to be like an angry old man.
Yeah. Those reboot iterations. How do you feel about Jodie?
I watched 4 or 5 episodes and it didn't grab me. I gave it a fair shake, but I think it's the writing's fault.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of bad things about the writing.
I want to give it another...
It seems like they're dumbing down the sci-fi a little.
Yeah, I'm going to give it another try when we get to it after Capaldi. But also, it's bad when they're like bringing Tennant back. Happy to see Tennant again. Mm-hmm. And they're also bringing Wilfred back before he passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
They're bringing him back?
Super old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in an episode or a special. They're like doing a special long thing with the new Doctor's Tennant before he transitions into the next Doctor.
Oh.
So Tennant will be the Doctor again for like a movie or something.
Oh.
I know. It doesn't taste right, but also I'm fine. I like David Tennant. I haven't seen Good Omens 2 yet, but I like David Tennant, so that's fine.
I didn't really like Good Omens.
I like Good Omens.
It's fine.
I guess that's maybe the Catholic school kid in me who I picked up on like a lot of references. It was
it
was like a Spider-Man person watching Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, I grew up Catholic too, man. We're in the same boat. I know all that shit.
You got off the ark way before I did.
I know the Book of Revelations like the back of my fucking hand.
Love Midnight Mass. The Fall of the House of Ushers had some images released, and I'm very excited for that movie.
Really?
Yep. Although Mike Flanagan's already talking shit about Netflix before came out, but
hey, they kind of deserve it.
Down on your knees. Fuck him up! We got gold!
He was a Finnish commando. Lost his home and his family in the war. He became a one-man death squad. He's one mean motherfucker that you do not want to mess with. Fire!
You'll see what happens when you take everything from him.
You really believe that he's immortal?
No, he just refuses to die.
How many mines did we bury here?
All of them.
You? And you?
This is not about who's the strongest. This is about not giving up. We have a word for that in Finland.
Sisu! We might have a problem.
Dylan, you chose a movie for us to watch today.
I did, and I told you about it yesterday.
2 nights, 2 days.
2 nights
Oh,
ago?
it was yesterday during the day.
It was yesterday during the day. I'm like, oh yeah, PopCornDogs, whatever. I chose the movie Sisu.
Sisu. And Carly and I watched it last night.
Yes.
And why did you choose Sisu?
I loved it. It is a ostensibly it's a World War II Western with a chapter setting. It plays almost like a Tarantino movie in a lot of ways, but Tarantino also borrowed that from older Westerns as well. Mm-hmm. So I just love Westerns in general. I like intrigue. I like moments of silence and weirdness, and I like just absorbing what I'm seeing.
Silent protagonists.
Silent until the end.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I think killing Nazis is hella cool.
Despite modern American ideals.
Nazism has always been in our blood, unfortunately.
There's been, unfortunately, a rise lately. So it's good to be reminded killing Nazis are bad people.
You know, in L.A., they actually built a special place for Hitler in the early 1940s for when he took over.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Bad people, and agreed. They're with zombies as very killable. There's only been a few sympathetic zombies. And the only sympathetic Nazis are the ones that are undercover trying to kill Hitler, like Tom Cruise and Valkyrie.
Well, it's also the ones who literally don't have a choice, or else their families get killed.
Yeah.
That at that point, none of us can say we wouldn't. But
Jojo Rabbit. Yeah. Yep.
Essentially, it's all. Yeah. I loved this movie. I love that main actor. I don't remember his name.
His name is Jorma Tommia.
He's good. His joy, his elation, and into his staunch, like, I'm going to kill you type of face is so good.
Yeah, a very Finnish film.
Oh, yeah.
It's mostly not in Finnish. This Sisu came out, was debuted September 9th of last year in 2022 at the Toronto International Film Festival, was released in Finland January 7th of this year, came out in the United States April 28th. It's got a runtime of 91 minutes. It's mostly English. The Nazis speak English, and they're almost all of who you're going to hear speaking outside of some captured women. And budget of about...
I don't know. I can hear dogs talk, so...
You speak dog?
Like, it's my special D&D skill.
Oh, okay.
It's the only skill I got.
So are you like a tiefling, or who can understand beast language?
It's a low-level spell. Some people can.
What is Martin saying?
It's not a dog.
Dang, you're good.
You are good.
I doubted him for a while, folks, but it is true. Martin is a cat.
I understand my dog Emma pretty well.
Your new dog, Emma. Your old new dog.
New
old dog.
She might as well have been mine for like the past year anyway.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. I'm her step owner.
Now owner.
Jordan says, "Oh, you're just her owner." I'm like, I like step owner. It makes me feel like I've been through the ringer a few times. It makes me feel like, oh, I can finally treat something the way they're meant to be treated.
It's more caring to be a step.
It is.
This film cost roughly $6.5 million domestic box office. It made $7.265 in America, worldwide box office of $13 million. Profitable film. Also made on the cheap. That is a cheap film.
Still cannot see how they got away with Most people could not get away with that.
It doesn't look like a $6.5 million movie.
Until the CGI happens.
The CGI looks mostly great.
It's believable.
I thought it looked acceptable.
I didn't like the airplane. That's my only complaint.
Yeah, that's where they were stretching it a little bit. Mostly, though, it's a film with strikingly simple and beautiful set pieces. We're by a lake. We're by a decrepit gas station. And a lot of it is we have an open road and things happen with these characters in this situation. Now, you mentioned Western, like World War Western. To me, this is Inglourious Basterds, John Wick, Rambo. Very much the tone was not what I expected.
It's got a little bit of First Blood in there.
It's got the one guy going on a killing rampage. John Wick is, despite its over-the-topness, still grounded very much in realism, whereas Inglourious Basterds...
I mean, kind of.
The original one is. It's grounded...
The first one.
It's grounded in real action. I mean, yes, they have bulletproof jackets in the later ones, but still the action, it's in camera.
Yeah.
It looks great. Inglourious Basterds is a fairy tale novel, Western. This is somewhere in the middle. Like we were talking about films that are either like very like campy or like sharp and serious. And this one is tiptoeing a line.
A line that is very hard to tiptoe.
There's one spot where I was like shaking my head. I'm like, not believable. And it still worked. I was still like, this is still really fun. Like I fucking
was it when he was underwater?
Yeah,
that was it. Okay,
that was it. Because everything up till then could have just been over the like a little extreme, but still like kind of in the realm of I accept it.
I had to look up if that was actually possible.
Probably,
and someone
to a small degree.
And someone said. Like they asked a scientist, and the scientist was like, "I guess technically
that scientist was super upset about that question."
But it's also like he literally like cuts open their necks and then takes like their breath from them,
sucks the breath out of their cut esophagus.
It's really good though.
And at that point, I could see it being a turnoff for some people.
Yeah.
We were on the ride and we were excited. So it was fine, but that's the point where it is no longer in realism. It is almost in tongue-in-cheek making fun of over the top, but such well-conceived action that I'm along. All right, you're holding your gold mining shield.
Yeah.
Everything from your dick down is exposed to bullets from a tank. And
there's such thing as like the character armor. It's the same thing with Captain America. My other thing is that the way I still relate this to Westerns is that Westerns don't portray things realistically unless we're talking like Deadwood.
Yeah.
Where like a shot will actually like kill you because you'll die from infection rather than actually like dying right away.
Yeah.
Because if it's the 1800s, before 1865, they didn't when they had like tools that they would use to like saw people's limbs off, they didn't disinfect it. They only found that out during the Civil War. So like 1865 at the earliest.
When I read the Indifferent Stars Above about the Donner Party, and they talk about the doctors who they'd run into, and they showed their pricing of the doctor's pricing for everything, which is cut this off, cut that off, cut that off. It's like, because that's what you got.
Yeah. Otherwise you get gangrenous and you die.
Yeah.
And this also kind of falls in line with the storytelling from anything from my favorite movies, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
I love the Fistful of Dollars trilogy in general.
I love extremely simple premises. And that's maybe why, I mean, I don't know if they compared it to John Wick in one of the trailers, but
they might as well have.
They showed the dog. And it almost just seems like a little bit of a tee up. And I feel like there was a trailer that said the dog lives.
There might have.
There might have been, because I think
it's very important to people. And I even told you, like right away, because Jordan has such a problem with dogs dying in cinema, even if it's so fake. When John Wick's dog died, she cried.
Oh, that was a bad one.
That was rough.
Theon Greyjoy beating a puppy is not okay.
They got to give him a good guy role.
They gave him Theon.
I mean, a guy who wasn't a merciless bastard who you may or
who
may
got
not
his wiener
forgive
cut
later.
off. Yeah. I think that's not here nor there.
But it's also like, I mean, I don't consider that a redemption, but he does generally end up on the good side of things.
Yeah.
But I also think that like this movie is in the style of probably a 60s Western. It actually feels like a Fistful of Dollars or a Hang 'em High in the way that it's realistic, that the main character does stuff and maybe physics aren't exactly like realistic, but it's not like we're watching Band of Brothers. We're watching a different portrayal of war. It is a revenge fantasy. Because I cheered several times during the whole damn thing, like where I was just like, what? No, that's awesome. Like, yeah, this is awesome.
When he, like, his balls, this man, his name is Tommy Corpy.
Yep.
They call him like Koshi, which means the immortal is his legendary name.
I do have to bring something up, and I forgot the dog's real name.
Okay.
The dog has an actual name. The dog has a very short name, scripted, but the real dog's name, it showed it because I saw it on Amazon Prime.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And it showed the dog's actual name, and I'm like, hell yeah. You keep talking about it. I have to know what this is.
We were talking about realism and over-the-top action and cartoonishness and Westerns with physics that are bent. And I think one of the title of the film, Sisu, they address it in the very first frame when they have a card that says the definition of the word Sisu. And it says it's a Finnish word that cannot be translated. It says it means a white-knuckled form of courage and unimaginable determination. And it perfectly describes the superpower of our hero. Our hero has the ability to take anything and keep fighting because he refuses to die. It's not that he can't die. It's that he won't allow, like, he can fight through any pain.
Yes.
And I think that's great. I don't think it translates well. The reason that I probably didn't see it without your recommendation is, despite the trailer being fun and looking interesting, Sisu, the title didn't grab me. And if they would have changed it to something for the American box office, it might have worked a little better for me.
I love the name. I'm glad that they did not give up on their core idea. Because I think also an interesting or weird name will kind of key me into things a little bit sooner than if this was somehow named like Determination or like
even
Hard Nose.
If they called it like Koshi the Immortal, I don't know. Like,
the dog's name is Uko.
Uko, good name.
No, that's the name of the dog in the movie.
Oh.
But the actor's name is Tinwellenden Belbog. I'm not kidding.
What does Tinwellenden Belbog mean?
I don't know.
I wonder.
I'll name a dog that.
Okay.
Tinwellenden Belbog. Call him Telly.
Cute dog. What's his name? Oh, this is Tinwellenden Belbog. What do you call him? Tinwellenden Belbog.
They've just got ridiculous names for fucking everything, and they're like 20 sentences long.
I like it.
I don't mind it. Yeah, but I think the title works. I think the title it rings. It's two consonants, hard consonants. It with two vowels. I think it fucking hits, and especially if they maybe they could have put a colon after it. Sisu,
the Immortal.
Yes,
that would have
maybe.
My stupid American brain would have responded a little more.
Kind of reminds me of like Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like that. I
like the second part. I don't love the Birds of Prey is fine, but also that movie, I'm just like, oh, that exists. I forgot.
It's a good movie. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's watchable.
This movie is directed by Jalmari Helander.
Now what do we know him for?
He has made 2 feature films before. In 2010, he made Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale. It's starring both Tommy, the main actor from this, as well as his son, who played like Nazi number 3, who had the burnt face, who was like the tank pilot.
Oh, I thought he was interesting.
Yep, that's the actor's son. They play a father and son, and it's set in Finland. It's a Finnish film, and it's a horror fantasy action film about Santa Claus.
I might watch that.
It sounds so cool.
I might watch that.
I watched the trailer, and someone accidentally blows up part of a mountain, and they find Santa's like tortured corpse, but it's still alive, and they try and sell and blackmail people, and Santa kind of wakes up.
Oh shit!
And it turns into like a horror film, I guess.
Maybe there was a reason he was buried all along.
I was like, this sounds really fun, and I think it kind of shows where Sisu is too, where it's action but comedy. This is definitely a fun. You laugh a lot in this movie.
You do,
yeah,
and it's almost out of surprise. It's more or less like when you're watching a horror movie, the kills. Like you're watching Jason go to work in this movie in a lot of ways.
The only reason you watch Jason movies are for Jason's kills.
Well, you're not interested in the characters, really.
Oh, look at these teenagers. I wonder if they're going to have anything interesting to say.
I just don't like them because they had premarital sex, which I never did.
Oh, but I like Rob Zombie.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think he's actually a really underrated director.
Did you see The Munsters?
I want to.
Okay.
Is it bad?
I haven't, but I've heard nothing good from any single person.
I've heard people liking it.
Okay.
So
was it Matt?
No.
Okay.
No, Matt's a strange duck when it comes to the movies he likes. Kind of on the line, but also sometimes he'll veer completely off.
So he made Rare Exports. Then in 2014, he made Big Game, which had a budget of $10 million, the most expensive film ever produced in Finland to today. And starring Samuel L. Jackson.
What?
And the main actor's son from Rare Exports. His name is Oni Tomila. Air Force One is shot down by terrorists, leaving the president stranded in the wilderness of Finland. So it's Samuel L. Jackson and a Finnish boy having to fight off terrorists to escape a forest. Which kind of reminded me of that New Zealand film, Hunt for the Wilder People.
Mm.
Yeah, a boy and a reluctant older figure, but the movie didn't make money. So this was the first film he's made since then.
How long ago was the other one?
Big Game was 2014. He was supposed to direct something else in 2020, but COVID shot it in the foot. So that's how Sisu happened.
And what if... Okay, so I would also say that this kind of borders on being kind of an arty film as well. Like
there are moments,
artistically.
of course.
Yeah, in the early parts, I'm like, holy shit, when do we get to the motorcycle shit? But it's also like, you've got to wait for that buildup because the buildup is what's important. You have to spend time observing this guy, really trying to figure out what he is before you really see who he is as like a human being. And I think the way this is shot, I don't know who the cinematographer is. Wonderful shots. And I mean, it doesn't hurt that they're in fucking Finland and they've got those rolling hills.
Yeah.
And that it's kind of bleak. It reminds me of Death Stranding quite a bit.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah.
I would actually say the only thing I didn't like about this movie is the way the action was shot. When it gets to a lot of the close, like, hand-to-hand stuff,
shaky.
It's just way too much cutting.
Yeah.
But it's also how you hide that our actor is fairly old. He looks perfect. I saw a video of him today without a beard. Looks like a little old man. With that beard is fucking carrying
listen,
him.
I've just got to say, Daddy cut, and Daddy knows.
He's great.
He's really good.
He looks lean.
Yeah.
In a scary way.
Yeah.
And okay, so our hero, he starts off, he's a gold miner, and there's a war going on around him. He says,
he's done with it.
He doesn't care.
Literally, the opening credits are
scorched-earth policy.
Scorched-earth policy, whatever. But it also says our hero has had enough of all of it. He has gone off. He's doing his own thing. Nobody questions it, which is interesting because when you consider, especially like the drafting rate, around this time, it's 100%, especially in those like Danish countries.
Yeah.
And,
Scandinavian.
Yeah. And so it's really interesting that they just let this guy kind of wander off because he was also a part of I forget what is the conflict he was in before this where he was just like the tank? Because it wasn't World War I know that for sure.
It could have been World War One. This is set in 1944, so he would have been like
Russian. It was some sort of Russian aggression thing.
He would have been like 30 years old in World War One.
Well, this takes place in 44. And he's like 60.
He's like 60. I want to say 65.
I don't think he was like the hard blood killer in that one. I don't know. I watched it 3 weeks ago.
Russians killed his family.
Yes. And I believe that was the conflict. There was the Russo something war.
Regardless,
I sound like an idiot. It's fine. I'm allowed to.
We don't need to understand every single war.
Well, especially the European wars. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. His family was killed. And that's one of the early character traits you see from him is he always plays with his wedding ring. So you know she's not around.
No.
And you know that he still thinks about her and cares about her. His family's gone, but you see him just gold mining and he finds this. And then most of the trailers I saw, it's like, you struck gold, but you're 563 miles from the nearest bank. So the whole point of the film is he just wants to get that gold to the bank.
Yeah. I mean, that is
straightforward.
That is kind of the long and short of it, but it's also...
That's the joke of it.
It's the joke of it. It is kind of the joke. Because it's like...
The end is the
fucked
joke.
with him. Yeah.
Yep.
The end is like the punchline, which is really good.
The first time you hear him talk is funny. Because, I mean, why else would he talk? He doesn't need to talk.
Well, there's also such levity to it. It's the breaking of the ice because all you've seen is are these crazy action scenes and creative ways of killing all these Nazis, and you realize what kind of like a devastating killer he is, but you also realize that he's also a very tortured individual who also went like, if you had just let me leave with my gold, none of this would have happened.
Yep.
You wouldn't have touched him. He wouldn't have even cared. If they had just passed him on that road, the whole plot wouldn't have happened.
It's slow burn. He gets his gold. It's a big moment. And then he passes a Nazi convoy. He's about to get shot by a character named the Wolf. And Bruno, the lead Nazi, says, don't do it. He's going to die anyway.
Not the Wolf. His name is just Wolf. That's his last name. It's Wolf.
Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next...
And he's like the sergeant, I think.
Bruno or Wolf?
Wolf.
Yeah.
The command.
Bruno's
commander.
Bruno is in charge, and then Wolf is second in command.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah. The next Nazis try and fuck with him. He stabs him through the head. He takes him down pretty quick. And that...
Hold on. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
We've got a silver alert.
Oh, yes. Someone was on foot. That's old.
He's black, short, balding hair. So me. Clothing, blue button-down shirt.
So you.
Yeah. Stripes and tan shorts. Brad, why didn't you tell
It's a Dylan alert.
Never mind. I thought that was funny. And I'm technically immortal, so I am kind of old.
If the film was called Dylan the Immortal, oh yeah, I would have watched it.
That would be messed up. I have a feeling after the first 100 years, I would just go bonkers.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm thinking about being immortal.
That's a podcast.
So me and my coworker, we were working on a panel in a basement, and it was a finished basement. So the young boy had his 10 friends over, and they were just talking about stupid shit. They're like, yeah, you think a miscarriage is bad? My friend lost their finger. And we were like geeking out because everything they were saying was so dumb. Mm-hmm. And one of them was like, you know what would really suck? Being immortal. Because how could you even have friends? I was like, what are you guys talking about?
That kid is wiser than he looks. That's actually pretty good.
My mom had a miscarriage. That's what they're just like. Me and Kale were just laughing because they did not know we were working in the room next to them.
Really?
And they were just doing full young boy
How old
talk.
are these kids?
10.
10?
They were talking about things they did not understand. It was so funny.
Oh, I remember talking about shit I didn't understand.
Yeah. Yep.
Been watching a lot of Skinemax.
So the tank turns around and they come after him. They start shooting. The first thing that takes Atami down, however you say his name, I'm going to say Atami.
Atmi.
Atami?
Atmi.
Atmi? Mm-hmm. Atmi. His horse goes over a fucking landmine.
Boom. And that horse
It's fucked
jellies.
up. Oh.
It's that part's brutal. I don't like seeing horses die. No one told me the horse dies.
Yeah. It's
but
like, sure, we care about dogs, but I also like horses.
I really like horses.
Yeah. The horse
Nobody
dies.
told me. No. Hashtag the dog lives. Hashtag the horse dies.
And then the tank rolls up and they see him on the ground, like trying to pick up his gold, and they just let him keep picking it up. And he doesn't say anything or look worried. He just keeps picking up all of his gold.
Well, this just shows that they like playing with their food. They're kind of being supervillains.
They like playing with their food. It also shows Atmi doesn't fucking care. He doesn't look scared once. He just keeps doing what he does. At the very end, he picks up a rock, and they're getting ready to shoot him. He throws the rock at a landmine in front of him and just fucking disappears. Great.
And then you're like, oh, and then they shoot into it. And then he throws a landmine he could find into a dude's head.
At that point, I was very on board. And then they start sending more people to run in. He gets away, and he's hiding behind this vehicle. And they're all of a sudden next to him, and he comes to, and there's dogs now. Mm-hmm. And Carly's like, get some gasoline on there. Like, you got to stab that gas tank. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, he rolls into
Carly knew that?
Carly called it. I was...
Holy shit.
I was blown away.
Carly's a stone cold killer.
Turns out if Carly was in World War II fighting Nazis, it could have been a shorter war.
I'll take her over you by my side.
Me too.
Yeah.
I can't because I'm not in that debate. I'd take her over you.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Unless it's about sick video game podcasts.
Well, I mean, like in battle.
In battle, I'd take Carly. Yeah. Yeah.
She can heal my wounds with gasoline.
I take one Carly over 10 Dylans.
Oh, come on. You know I'd be good.
But not 10 not 10 of you for one Carly, maybe. Maybe 10 of you over one mini Carly.
I'm not sure how well Jordan would do because she's diabetic. So I might leave her at home.
More like kill-a-betic when she got out there.
Kilobetic. I'm going to tell her that. That's awesome.
But he covers himself in gasoline.
As long as she's got insulin.
They sick the dogs on him, and the first thing he does is light himself on fire, which mostly I think is just to scare the dogs away from him. And he jumps in the water.
Yeah, it is. And then he jumps in the water to extinguish it. But he knows that if he coats himself thinly with it, then that's not actually going to burn him right away.
Yeah.
Because he's wearing heavier equipment. But it's also fucking what?
Yeah. They catch him and they hang him a little bit later because they get his dog and attach dynamite to him after the whole he swims underwater and cuts throats and stuff. I thought there'd be a different way he gets off of the hanging post other than he lifts himself up with his wound by impaling himself again.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually cool because then it keeps him from actually hanging. He can breathe.
He doesn't want to die. Refuses.
I don't even know if it's refusal. I just don't think his own preternatural predatory instincts will let him.
Yeah.
I like that about this character. Clearly he is a man, he is so mission focused no matter what he's ever done.
Yeah.
Because they talk and Wolf explains like his backstory a little, how he's so like reckless that they just basically send him off into the wilderness because he's not a team player. And they just let him kill.
And they get orders, the Nazis, they say, turn around, just get out of there. It's not worth going back.
I love that this guy has that level of reputation. And the Finnish army wasn't like, hey, we'll pay you as much as you want.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing I'd do. I'd be like, can you just work for me?
Please. Please.
You don't need gold.
I do like that the lead Nazi, Bruno, he ignores the order and he says, this war is fucking over. This is our only chance of getting out of here and staying ahead is if we get this gold. Nazis with even less to lose is
more terrifying.
Yeah,
because when you corner a dog or a rat, they're gonna bite.
Yeah, he captures a plane from these other Nazis. He catches up there.
Yeah,
the chapters are okay. I like them enough. I like that the chapters get like more shot out and cut up as they go along. Once they get to chapter 6, kill them all.
Yeah,
and that's when he gets the plane and he goes full like Baba Yaga on him.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He lets himself get his ass kicked so he could lure him over to the bomb, to rope him to the bomb to drop off the plane, which I didn't think looked particularly good. As he was going down, he was like, fuck you. I'm like, okay. It should just more be like, because if I were falling, I'd be like, no.
I don't know. I love that. I did love that sequence. First, though, they meet the women, which are, you need to have female characters in films. So I feel like they partially had that. They didn't really play up the horrific things the Nazis, like, those women prisoners were not being treated well.
Well, they were being raped.
Yeah, they didn't really address that too much. They have the one.
They address it right at the start.
Well, they made him walk in front. Would seem to be what it was going on.
No, but you can see that like their first introduction is the guy coming out of the wagon.
Yeah,
and he's zipping up his pants.
Yep. The women. There's the one lead woman. Her name is.
Oh, she's great.
I know in the film, Mimosa Willamo is her name. She has a really great speech where the two Nazis, like, you think it's him, you think he's around, and she's just like laughing and smiling. And she explains how fucked they are. And in the middle of that, one of them gets stabbed in the back of the neck. And Otmi reaches in to grab the gun and he sees her reaching for it and he gives her the gun and then he like lifts up his coat and he has like 8 guns on him and he like loads them up. I love that.
That whole scene at the bottom of the truck too, with the puncturing of the gasoline. And then like as they go, they're like, did we just run over one of our dudes?
Yeah.
It's really good.
He's great. He gets a motorcycle. He leaves Wolf to the women, but the airplane's about to take off, and Bruno, as in classic cutting out Cher's fashion, shoots his number 3 guy in the face. So him and the pilot are taking...
The tank pilot.
The tank pilot, the only person who survives with him there, shoots him in the face, which...
He wants the money for himself.
It's a bigger share. The plane's taking off, and Otney is...
No, he actually... They lost the gold. The gold is gone. He dumps it in the bottom of the lake. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to cover his tracks as being dishonorable because he's the only proof left that he actually was dishonorable or what actually happened. He's worried about his reputation at this point. He's not even worried about the gold.
He did leave the gold in the lake.
So he was worried about his reputation. Even if he survives and he gets away, he's still worried about his own integrity and honor.
The gold was left in the lake.
Yeah. And that's where he retrieves it from after. It's implied.
Yeah. As well as when he gets the dog back.
Yep.
He's charging at the plane, shoots out the plane, shoots the pilot, and...
he doesn't shoot him out. He injures him.
Takes his fucking pickaxe. This is the most ridiculous thing in the film. Stabs the plane with the pickaxe, and there's a shot of him holding onto it, just flying full speed. Just this old dude. And
at this point, you gotta believe it.
At this point, it is the biggest guitar solo you've ever heard, and you're like, yeah, okay, yeah.
It's metal as shit.
And he somehow falls back to the wheel well, and he's just like, beats his way into the plane.
And they're like, what is that? And he's like, I don't think I can fly anymore. And he's like, well, you better fly.
He's like, you're gonna fly. And the guy's like, okay, sure. I won't die then. If he had any Sisu, he'd have been fine.
It takes a special person. I don't have any Sisu. I got no Sisu.
No, I have 0 Sisu.
I
stubbed my toe and I'm like, this is it, guys. It's been good knowing you.
I'm an intellectual. Leave me alone.
Yeah, you mentioned it. He's getting the shit beat out of him by
but
Bruno.
He's doing it on purpose because
I don't know if he had the idea right away. After he gets the shit beat out of him, that's when he looks over and sees the bomb. He seems like he's okay with getting the shit beat out of him because he knows he's going to figure something out.
Well, and this guy also, this Bruno,
yeah,
he kind of wants an honorable fight, or he wants to beat him with his own hands because he is so like emasculated and torn down by what this guy did that he wants to like prove to himself how masculine he is. I think this movie is kind of a portrayal of masculinity, not in terms of like anything healthy, because the women end up being the real heroes of it. There's nothing really honorable about the main character. He ends up killing a bunch of people who took his shit, and the women are the ones who are the kind of freedom fighter heroes. Because if his motivation wasn't to kill Nazis for any moral purpose,
agreed,
it was literally to get his shit back, and also just to kill them because they took his shit.
If he equips them with guns and he lets them,
he's like, you can do what you want with this guy,
or maybe it's just out of his own like, you can help out. But you're right, he's not there to kill Nazis. He would have walked by every Nazi to go to the bank.
I think he's got a soft spot for women also because of his wife.
Yeah.
Clearly there's an implication there that something similar happened to his wife.
He saw the woman's face as he walked by that first Nazi tent and then saw it get pulled back, and he chose to keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
He chose to keep walking. So,
but that's also the refusal of the call in the hero's journey.
Yep.
He didn't really have a choice even then.
Much like Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, he refused the call initially.
He's like, I don't want to be a space cop.
You're right.
Yeah,
it's just
true.
like Green Lantern.
Oh my God, it is. No, but I actually think that this movie ends up being about the women, even though they're in the least amount of scenes. I think this movie is more about them because at the end of the day, it's about them showing up to the Finnish army and being like, oh, so we got this guy.
It's not about the women.
Where's the
They
rest
have
of
some
them?
really great scenes, but it's about Otney. It's about...
But
it's about action.
But he's also really not a hero. He is generally... He's a protagonist.
No, he's a hero. It's just he's got not the best motivations. He is not a good guy, but he is a...
Well, he's a protagonist.
He's a great
I'll
neutral.
give you that, but I don't... I think that all of this is literally just like, you fucked with me too far, and now my rage is all I have.
That is all you need to be a hero.
I mean, if you're the Hulk, I guess.
Yeah, it's
but even
a loose
the
term.
Hulk stories are about controlling your rage.
I will say, when the women abandoned the tank just so they could walk out of the smoke in slow motion, I cringed a little bit.
It's a kind of Marvel Endgame, like,
and it's making fun of Hollywood. I get it. I see what they're up to, but I'm also like, I guess we're not going by real good logic anyways, because I would have just...
it's not for us. That's the one thing I can say. This is meant to be a moment for anyone who really was just like, these women got it bad. Like, especially people who can relate to them. I tend to relate more to male characters. A lot of the times I do also relate to women characters, but it's when something that brutal in that time period happens, and
to me it wasn't about
some sense of like,
it wasn't about anything of that.
Doodles.
It was about, you had a tank and you abandoned it.
They did get it back. They wanted to walk up on this guy and beat the shit out of him,
which is good. It's good beating the shit out of Wolf. The plane's going down. Mm-hmm. Otmi makes himself a makeshift seatbelt. Mm-hmm. Survives the thing. For some reason, the plane is disintegrated into a big pile of mud.
It's a bog.
Well, the plane disappears, and he climbs out of the bog.
Mm-hmm. It's a real Boba Fett situation.
Yeah,
talking about Star Wars,
out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah,
it's
a real Poe Dameron situation.
Dameron.
Damn.
I still haven't seen all of Andor.
I can't.
I hear it's great.
I watched 4 episodes. You couldn't convince me at that point.
I was also not convinced at that point. But
whatever.
At some point. Otmi, then there is a big implied he got the gold back. Implied he got the dog back. Mm-hmm. Because they're all of a sudden...
they don't show the dog after that.
The dog is shown.
Really?
The dog is shown. The dog is with him again.
I might have been eating hot sauce at that point.
Nice.
And I might have been drunk on hot sauce.
He goes to the bank. He scares all of these hoity-toity people who are not used to seeing real hardworking folks. Mm-hmm. And then he has the only line in the film. He says, "In cash, big bills, thanks, so that it's not so damn heavy to carry around." Great.
Well, that's a metaphor for his burdens.
And also, he's been dragging gold around for most of the film. Big portion of the film.
If only that horse didn't die.
Yeah.
You could tell he really loved that horse.
He was sad. Yeah, he had a moment with that horse.
I think he loved the horse more than the dog. And I'm not casting aspersions on that dog. Perfectly lovely dog. Nice cut, by the way. Very well groomed for a dog that shouldn't have been groomed.
In the wilderness. Yes.
That breed of dog can get...
like a sheep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could make clothes out of that thing.
I wonder if people make dog
hair is not pleasant on a coat.
Not
despite
good.
What Cruella DeVille will tell you.
Which was actually a pretty good movie.
I have no sympathy for someone who eventually tries to skin puppies.
Cruella was a good film. I didn't want to like it.
I cannot do it. I am so sorry.
Watch it though. You should watch it.
What? Because Dalmatians killed her parents?
The film is not about any of that. You should watch it.
It's a prequel to a thing I've seen. She tries to skin puppies.
All I'm saying.
It's not like I particularly liked Anakin Skywalker. You're not supposed to.
You liked Anakin.
I don't like Anakin, except for in episode 1, where he says, "Now this is pod racing."
What about when he says
up the Trade Federation ship?
Well, remember the first time I saw you and I went, "Are you an angel?"
And I said, "No."
I said, "I hear the deep space pilots talk about him." You don't remember that?
A lot of people say that to me, so it's
they're from the moons of they're from the moons of Yago, I think.
If we hadn't become such good friends, maybe
someday I'm gonna fly
have,
away from this place.
Someday I'm gonna fly away from this place. So far, Jenny. I love this movie. I think there's so much going on in it. It's worth a rewatch, at least. I can't say that about a lot of movies. And I chose this one because my other option was Paprika.
Yeah. I don't know that one. Animated?
Yeah, it's weird.
I was going to suggest we talk about Avatar 1 and 2.
Oh, that'll have to be another one. Because I've got a lot to say.
I do want to talk about those at some point.
What I will do is I will actually, myself, go through the trouble of creating pages and pages of research about the lore of it, much like Dom did for Albert Wesker.
That was intense.
I know a lot about Awa now. I read the comics.
Well, I know the chosen one is Sigourney Weaver.
She's not the chosen one. She's kind of like a prophet.
Okay.
She's like a seer.
I thought Sisu was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. I would definitely watch it again. I am very excited to see the other movies this director made, mostly the Christmas one. I would watch the Samuel L. Jackson one as well, but mostly I want to watch fucking Rare Exports, which sounds... I watched the trailer too, and it looks and just seems like a great film. Yeah. Let's rank Sisu.
Oh my God, I have to do it with you. All right.
So we have 26 movies ranked so far.
Okay.
98% Marvel.
Oh my God.
Plus No Country for Old Men, Barbarian, and Face Off.
I love No Country.
Okay, so Sisu or Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Sisu.
I should have chosen a different one to start with. I'd go Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I mean, I like that one too, but I also enjoyed this movie like in a way that I think being kind of an original thing that came out of nowhere. How often do we see that in Hollywood now? I think I was just refreshed by it.
Let's rock, paper, scissors.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, shoot. Okay. And we say it out loud.
Rock, paper, scissors, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, rock. Ah, you got it.
Spider-Man Homecoming or Sisu?
Sisu.
I would go Sisu as well.
Okay.
Man, Guardians 2 is a tough block. Sisu is number 13 so far.
Guardians 2 is so much about like the excellence of found family. Even though the first one is finding it, this one is about like maintaining it and like friendship.
Growing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emotional film.
Literally like it's about daddy issues.
So, yeah. Our number one film on Popcorn Dogs thus far is No Country for Old Men.
That totally deserves it.
Yeah.
It's a movie I think about probably once a week.
Sometimes these rankings, there should be a day where we do a Doggies After Dark with both this and the video game rankings where each of us can choose like 2 movies or 2 games and we'll do a re-ranking of them to just kind of like, there are some things that maybe shouldn't be so high or low and we could rebalance it a little bit.
I'm thinking we do Doritos flavors one day.
Rank the Doritos flavors?
Oh, yeah, of course. They've got new flavors now. They've got the late night loaded taco.
Oh, shit.
And they've got a pineapple jalapeno.
I'll load that taco.
There's also tangy ketchup and hot mustard.
I like tangy ketchup flavored things.
I think it's gone now. Too late.
Damn.
I had the hot mustard flavor.
They have Mountain Dew hot ketchup now. This has been Popcorn Dogs.
Okay.
We are part of the Tokyo Pete Podcast Network. Special thanks to our executive producers, Ryan Christianick, Jordan Hoff, Phil Wright, Kip Kipperson, Kip Kipperoo, and Brian Ward. Thank you so much for your continued support. We love and appreciate you. If you want access to these episodes well in advance, because this episode will be available to our Patreon members for about a year before you're hearing about it, which is why you might be confused when we're talking about what just came out or what we've been watching, because this has been out to Patreon members for a while. Check out patreon.com/hairofthedogcast. And yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky. I think almost all of it's bullshit, but we like talking with fans or people that are listeners anyways. You don't have to be a fan to listen, and we would like to talk with you.
Follow me if you like art at Demons Draw Dylan.
Very
on
good.
Instagram. It's all I've got. Sometimes I don't show everything I do, but sometimes I like to throw some shit out there. So,
and it's always good.
Sometimes.
Thank you.
I like to post the stuff that's mediocre too. Keeps me honest.
I mean, people are still talking about Shuffley from way long ago.
That was drawn on my phone.
And that was that good.
Oh, Shuffley.
High concept.
He was a little anti-Semitic.
He's the guy in Castlevania who hides the meats.
In the walls.
Bradley Cooper was trending because never mind. We will see everybody next time.
Love you. Bye-bye.